Here we are.
Yeah, no, who are you with?
I told him I'm just me.
Who do you publish with?
Nobody. All right, we're in Munford, and I'm sorry I forgot your name again already.
Tim Stedman.
Tim Stedman. And what's your role in this?
I am with the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm the event coordinator for this.
Okay, and I assured him that I am not doing this from any political standpoint whatsoever. I just want to capture it because it's an absolutely fascinating story. So what's going on over there?
This is at the very end of the war between the states.
Yes, sir.
Like I had right here. This was the last battle here, and Lieutenant Andrew Jackson Buttram was the last Confederate casualty in the war between the states.
Oh, y'all know who it is?
Yeah.
East of the Mississippi.
Yeah, east of the Mississippi. This is his monument. Now, right after the battle, there was a battle here, and it was the last battle, part of Croxton's raid. The Yankees or Federals were Croxton's raid. About 2,500 Yankee raiders came through here out of Talladega, and they were confronted by 500 or so Confederate militia, home guards, invalids, leftovers, that sort of thing. Lieutenant Buttram was ordered here out of Georgia to come and confront the raiders. He actually had some family in this area, so he was familiar with the area. He was a lieutenant, and he was shot off his horse and buried where he fell. The two Federals died in the battle, and after the war, the Federals came back and disinterred them and took them home. Now, that is a wartime burial. The next day, the community came out.
Right there, as a wartime burial.
Wartime burial. So, over the years, this monument was put there in 1914 by the veterans that fought with him and the community.
Yes, sir.
Over the years, it stayed there up until about the 1970s. The monument started getting damaged and hit, run over by a log truck.
Yeah, it looks like it's had a little bit of damage.
Too close to the road.
Too close to the road.
It is, yeah.
And so in the 1970s, they picked it up and moved it over here. But they never moved Lieutenant Buttram.
Oh, so they've always known he was there.
That's right. And as time passed, his grave became unmarked. He ended up in the front yard of a private residence. And it's just an improper place for a combat casualty to be.
I agree.
So our Sons of Confederate Veterans Camp chartered in this area, and we were talking with the Munford officials, and they gave us the opportunity to help them move him and put him here and rebury him here where his monument is.
That's absolutely incredible.
So April the 17th and 18th, it'll be a two-day event. Lieutenant Buttram will be given a full Confederate military funeral. Be a funeral procession, honor guard, artillery salutes, that sort of thing.
Oh my God, now when is that again?
It's April the 18th. Now April the 17th, and I'll give you a flyer.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna have, the town of Munford has initiated, and they're starting to work on a veterans park for their modern era veterans, and we're helping them with that. And so we're going to have a concert with 3 on the String, unreconstructed.
Okay.
Some people of that caliber, family type entertainment over here at the Munford High School gym. And the proceeds from that will go to benefit the new Munford Veterans Park.
That is absolutely fascinating to me. So they've known that was in their front yard all this.
There.
Right.
Now who you see right there now is we contracted. You know, when the town talked to us, and we said, well, yeah, we very much like to be involved in that. That's what we're all about.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But we're going to do it the right way. We're going to contract. We're going to get with the archaeologists, and the University of Alabama Archaeological Department was willing to work with us. Oh. And so we contracted with them, and that's who you see working over there. They started out, I guess, about 11 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
They thought they were going to be able to find him with ground penetrating radar, and the wet ground affected that.
Yeah.
So they just kept looking, and they found him. He was buried with honor. He was buried with his his hands crossed.
Did y'all get to see him?
East. Yeah,
Yes,
no
we
pictures.
We
Yeah.
saw the skeleton.
Yeah, facing east. He's all there. Found some uniform buttons.
Unbelievable. My
They
goodness.
said he was extremely bow-legged from riding a horse a lot. He was a cavalryman. And they found remainders of his spurs. He's
And
all
his
there.
boots.
And his boots.
And his boots.
So
So everything,
159 years.
159.
so everything there will be carried to the morgue.
Right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For a
he'll
while.
He'll be at the Usury, how do you say it?
Ussery in
Funeral Home in
Talladega.
Talladega will be
Caretaker.
caretakers until we rebury him on April the 18th.
Yeah.
That church was built in 1851 and was here during the battle.
It was here when he failed.
Yeah, when he
It was
fell.
here when he fell.
So his service will be there in that church, and then we'll have a funeral procession, and then we'll rebury him. Who are you?
This is,
Pete Jones,
And who are you with?
History Seekers.
Okay.
he is
Same
he
bunch?
is similar. Yeah, we're just friends, and he does the same thing. No they want to show him no political agenda.
Right.
We are
We're all
just
from
now. We stopped the cameras for a minute because, understandably, y'all want to make sure that we're not a couple of yahoos coming around stirring up trouble.
Right.
And you are the mayor, correct?
Right.
Can you tell me your name
Mayor
again?
Fambro, Joanne Fambro.
Yes, ma'am. It's
And I
an
was
honor.
raised here, and this was not taught in school. I didn't know anything about this till I got out of school.
Right.
So you didn't know he was there either?
No. I mean,
Unbelievable.
there is a plaque there, and other citizens knew it, but I never knew the history of it.
I have located and found some pretty incredible Civil War relics thanks to friends like Heath and friends over in Georgia and all over the South. And this is the only thing that you hear people say they're shaking when they find something incredible.
They were tears.
This
We
We
teared
were
up.
really
literally
makes my
crying
hands
this
shake.
morning.
I did too, and
We
I
were
called
literally
him.
crying.
He
All
was
of
closer
us
than I
were.
was.
How did y'all?
So we started the race car version to get here.
The funeral will be in this building.
So we are not allowed to go over there to take pictures, anything. Only the officials here are. So, like she said, that
can't take pictures.
even the officials can't
Not
take
even the family.
family officials.
That's
Nobody.
University policy. They won't allow any pictures of skeletal remains.
Okay.
That's respectful. You know, I mean, that's a. I had no idea. I mean, I've heard stories. I've heard this whole story,
Yeah.
and I'll be honest, I didn't believe it. That there was a battle here because I talked to people and they didn't seem to have any proof or nothing.
Well, it was
and
a skirmish.
Right.
either way, I mean,
part of
this is
Croxton's
absolutely
raid.
fascinating.
Yeah.
There were approximately 500 Confederates against 2,500 Federals, Yankees we call them, with repeating arms. They
Goodness,
really didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
I can't quit.
Artillery,
My
they had
hands
two
shaking.
artillery pieces set up right over here. They got off 2 shots
So the artillery is over in that area.
over on a hill over here. I wish.
And you have to understand this road wasn't here either.
Right, this was all probably woods and everything.
It's gonna be cleaned up and redone and flagpole painted. It's gonna be a big event. We're
So this is
excited
gonna
about
be
it. Community's
where they will
excited about
actually
it.
lay him to
It's been
rest.
Wonderful to work with all the Munford officials and the mayor and the University of Alabama Archaeology team, the Alabama Historical Commission. Everybody has just been.
And we have to remember the owners of the
Oh
property
yes,
too, because
Property owners, right.
Yeah.
Reverend Villanueva. You know, they've just been very gracious. Granted us permission to disinter him there,
Right.
and it's just been a very, very positive.
through the years, this has become a Hispanic church.
Right.
It has been Methodist, it has been Baptist, but now it's a Hispanic church. So.
Okay.
Well, that's awesome that it's still getting used.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because a lot of them don't.
That's true. And I
So
hope
that's
we never
wonderful.
quit using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
It's such a
it's
beautiful building.
actually it needs a historical marker itself.
Yes.
It does need one.
It dates back to the period of the Civil War.
Well, this is a nice little historical area.
Oh, okay. Before the Civil War.
The battle, he was laid to rest
Right
there,
Where he faced.
and the church was standing there.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
There was a house there at that location.
I'm sorry if this thing's shaking. I can't.
Do we know the soldier's name?
Lieutenant Andrew Jackson Buttram.
Yeah, and it's
And
here.
if
That's
you
what
would
I was
like to,
telling you,
one
man.
of his ancestors is here. We can, where is Ginger?
So this is actually
Oh, they went to eat.
him.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Her brother is...
Unbelievable.
Mayor, what was the official name?
Well, it was the Munford Home Demonstration
He's talking about this
Club.
blue house.
Right. And if you go down there and look on the, it's an early ladies club.
Yeah.
You go down there, there's a cornerstone from 1931.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read
Eventually,
that.
we'd like to get a historical marker up for that as well. So,
Okay.
And eventually the town would like to do a museum in this
Yeah.
house.
this,
Yeah.
I think this will probably end up being the Munford Historical
Probably.
Park. Yeah.
I'm gonna show you this. Let me go put it in the wagon.
It wasn't in the grave, so.
Can I do that?
Hey, come here. Get the garbage out of the way. Again,
Everybody makes garbage.
not point the camera towards the architect. I mean,
Gotcha, gotcha, okay.
This was a marker that was put up by an SCV camp in this area that went defunct. It was named for him. Once his marker disappeared, they actually relocated his grave in the late 90s. We thought this had been stolen or lost, and it was grown over. And so in our digging around today, that was the first thing we found.
That's incredible to me.
Yeah, but this is not really old. This was put in the late 90s.
Was that across the street? Where
Yeah.
he's- okay.
Yeah,
so-
that was their attempt to try to keep his grave marked.
Right. And I'm not going to point the camera over there because just in case.
Yeah,
But
don't get me in trouble.
that marker was over.
This
across the
marker
street.
was approximately over there where you see the grave, where the excavation is going on now, and it was completely grown over. It was green, and we started looking at pictures of where the old monument was, that monument, before they moved it, and we started talking about the pastor's wife used to plant flowers around the monument in the grave when the pastor and his wife lived in the parsonage there. And so we were looking at a little bundle of flowers that's over where one of those blue containers are, and I happened to look down and saw just about the corner of it right there. And so I started kicking the dirt off of it, and there it was.
Wow.
And this is more than likely part of the original. There were like pipes on with concrete posts at the end. Yeah. And this is probably part of one of the original one of those. You can see where the pipe went through on the back side of this.
That is amazing.
Buttram's
fourth great niece.
fourth great niece.
Wow.
Oh,
Her
wow.
name is Ginger Buttram. She is the head of the Buttram Facebook page and the head of the Buttram group. They're going to have a family reunion in conjunction with the funeral on April the 18th. So I'll let y'all talk to her. Please tell her who you're with and what you're.
You go ahead, we're kind of the same.
Yeah, I'm from History Seekers, and this is Exploring Alabama YouTube. Both of us have YouTube channels, and we're focused around recovering historical artifacts and telling the stories about, you know, soldiers' lives and that sort of thing. And so this is just naturally interesting to us and the people that watch our videos. Tell us a little bit about, I guess you're probably into genealogy a little bit too, huh?
I am. I've always liked history and I always wondered where I came from. In the early 2000s, I started doing some genealogy. I'm an occupational therapist and therapist, and a patient had kind of got me into it and told me where to start looking for stuff.
Wow.
And then about 4 years ago, started doing more to try to get into the Daughters of the American Revolution and found out more about my family. So, but I've known about Andrew Jackson here for about 20 years. And he's, like I said, he's my fourth great uncle, my third great grandfather, because you got to add a great for your uncles.
Right.
Is his brother, and he was here in this battle as well. His name was James Morgan Buttram.
And he survived.
He survived, and his son and Lieutenant Jack's son were taken POW. About a month after the battle, they swore an oath of allegiance to the Union and were released and came back home to Cleveland County, Alabama.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That is incredible. So the reunion, that'll be during the during the
We'll
reburial?
leave here and we'll go to the reunion
That's a
site
family
in
only
October.
type thing?
I
So
mean,
it
you
can-
know,
I was gonna say, be careful, or you
started
invite
as
thousands.
a family reunion, and I do coordinate one. My dad was from Polk County, Georgia,
Right.
and his twin sister is still living. She'll be 89 this year, and I coordinate one yearly over there.
Oh,
And I thought,
wow.
well, we're all going to be over here. Why don't we just do it? And then I've gathered up probably 100 more Buttrams at least that I don't even
Wow.
know that are coming from all over. So I think the room that they reserved for us is probably not going to be big enough. At this
Oh, wow.
time.
It'll be a wonderful
As many
event,
as
though.
I've gathered up. We got people coming from many different states.
Have you talked to any of the older people in the family that may have stories that were relayed down about what happened? And
I actually do. I am in close contact, and even before this event that I knew about, before I knew about it, I am in contact with his great-great-grandson who's 84 years old.
Oh,
wow.
goodness.
Yes, he lives in Florida, and he will be here in April.
I wonder if he has photos or anything.
Yeah.
Or, wouldn't that be
He
incredible?
Actually, no, I mean, he did some research. He was here in '98 when they did the rededication then. But he doesn't drive that far now. His younger sister will be bringing him in April.
yeah, did they? I know they thought he was buried here at one time, and some people thought he was buried there at one time. How did they finally eventually decide yes, he's right here, and we're going to move him to the proper place?
Well, I don't know the answer to that because I'm not local. I live in North Georgia.
Okay.
But I do know that this monument used to be over there.
Right.
And it got
Oh,
moved over
okay.
here because in the 70s, the gentleman that lived in that house owned a pulpwood business, and he kept backing his truck into that and knocking it over, so they moved it over here in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and then they put there's a little flat stone that was in the yard that they just actually unearthed. They thought it had gone missing, but they found it today.
Yeah, they showed us that. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yes, and they placed that there during that rededication, and they got pretty close to the grave as well. So
Yeah, they did.
that's what I know about that.
Wow.
Well, that's fascinating. I appreciate you telling us the
Yes,
story.
thank you.
I would love to crash the reunion.
Yeah.
Well, definitely come for the everything's.
I
open
would
to the
love
public
to,
in April,
yeah.
You know, and they're going to be doing the reenactment and the encampment and
Yeah.
the formal military funeral with what they're telling me, uniformed guards, like 12 or 24 hours before the funeral.
Wow.
And so they'll have all that here.
Well, thank you so much for
Yes.
talking to us. Thank you.
Thank
It's done.
Good.
Amazing.
It is absolutely unbelievable. Isn't it fascinating?
Fascinating.
It's done.
Somebody's got some yard work to do.
Yeah, somebody's got a little bit of cleanup, a little grass
That would be us.
seed to sow. So it's done. He will now go to the funeral home where he will be reinterred later on. And it's been an honor to be here and see this and talk to the families. Thank you for watching my video.